what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy.
In case you missed it, Austin Thomas is back once again at LSU. Third time's a charm. I'm trying to bring up my notes that I had because it's something that we never got to on yesterday's show that I wanted to touch on. But Jake, while I look for this, give me, because I'm gonna give Thomas his history and his journey to get back here. But give me your kind of surface level thoughts of Thomas being back in the fold.
I mean, obviously knows Louisiana. Like a lot of this staff, it's almost like a requirement. Like you better know the state of Louisiana, and BK has shown like people that he's bringing in on both sides of the football. So Austin being here a couple of different times certainly knows the state. He knows the lay of the land. Obviously, he's done some great things in LSU colors, and also like where he's coming from. They built out a hell of a roster there in Oxford. So, like his last job, that's kind of a proof of concept again that he can get a really nice roster put together. And so, like, you have to have somebody in these positions now. And so, like, I'm curious, like, how they got him back again to be, at LSU, considering like he's gone away and come back. Now we know him and Scott Woodward have a very, very tight relationship.
Him and Woody are very, very tight. Woody is a massive AT fan. He's all in on him. And you're seeing a bit of an interesting trend. And by the way, credit Wilson Alexander for breaking the Austin Thomas news. You're seeing a bit of an interesting trend, Jake. It was brought to my attention by some message board purveyors. I had not heard this term before. No, not Taylor, actually.
Taylor.
But have you heard the term Kelly casualty?
I have not.
That is basically people who, when Kelly came in, for one reason or another, were, they didn't survive the transition of power, right? Like Trey Palmer's one of them. But what you've seen now, Corey Raymond was one of them. Now, again, I think it's because they were kind of slow playing Corey, and he was like, well, I got this other offer. I might as well go do it. But now Austin Thomas, also one of them. Remember, Austin Thomas not originally kept, and now probably Woody getting in Kelly's ear a bit and being like, Coach, look at what he's done at Ole Miss over the last 2 years. Like, this is a cat that we should, think about bringing back here.
Yeah.
And so now I love seeing a guy being willing to not be so calcified in his position, right? That BK would say, you know what, maybe we made a mistake letting Corey Raymond go.
Yeah.
And we need to rectify that. We made a mistake letting Austin Thomas go. We need to rectify that. So here's Thomas's journey. He worked for Coach Miles 13 to 17. When Coach O gets the interim job in 16, he becomes GM, which at the time was an ahead-of-the-curve job title. There weren't any GMs in college football. Now you have to have one, right? He then went to A&M with Scott Woodward, where he was an associate AD, worked very closely with Woody. He was at Baylor in 2020, so a quick little jaunt with Dave Aranda.
Yep.
Then he comes back to LSU in 2021, but everything goes awry. Brian Kelly comes in, he leaves, goes to Ole Miss, where he had the title of Chief of Staff. And as Jake said, like we all see how they built that roster, what happens. And so it's very exciting now to me that you have him back here in a day and age where, again, he's been doing this job. He's been at the forefront of trying to figure out the insanity of the new age of college football. He has years of experience at it. He's been all over the SEC. And now he's back, and it feels like in an infinitely more stable environment than the last couple of times he's been here.
Oh, without question. I mean, like he's been at LSU, and it's been a little chaotic. I mean, if you kind of think about, like, obviously, like the end of Les Miles' tenure and then the 2020 season he leaves, and then when he comes back, it's still like there's chaos. It feels like all around LSU. Then you have the new coaching hire. And so, like, this is probably the most stable LSU that he's ever been to.
Yeah.
Like, actually, like, hopefully we can get him on here in the next couple of weeks, and I'd love to ask him, like, hey, so, like, how'd it feel walking into a building that felt like it was, stable? How'd that feel?
Yeah, exactly,
was
right?
that great?
Like,
You enjoy that? And so, look, LSU needs someone in that position. We all know that. I think all major schools do. And so you have somebody that understands, again, the lay of the land, but also, like, he has proven, like, he can do more with less. And I'm not trying to throw shade at Ole Miss here. That's just what it is. Like, he has put together a hell of a roster in a school that typically doesn't compete with you roster-wise, right? And so I'm a fan of it. I think you lose somebody to where'd Will go? Auburn, right? You lose Will to Redmond to Auburn, and so you're starting over, and this is a good person to start over with because this late into the game, like, you don't have to hit complete reset.
Yeah.
Again, like, he can hit the floor running. Like, I'm sure, like, as soon as he got there, he had already talked to multiple high school coaches in the area, all those things.
He already knows the lay of the land. There's no onboarding because he's already been onboarded twice before. In fact, he came up in the system, and now he and he gets to go add to a 25 class that is currently number one by a country mile. And he gets to go.
I haven't heard that in a while. Appreciate that one, Bo.
And he and I'm going to be fascinated to see what kind of spring work he can do in the Pirtle, especially when it comes to D tackles. That is still the biggest flaw with this LSU team. They need D tackles. Which, by the way, we talk about Charles Turner. Shout out Jordan Jefferson here in Mobile this week. We talk about him as well.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.